Tonight on the show, we're talking about a crazy Halloween Ends update. Bam Margera has sued MTV and the cast of Jackass. Johnny Depp finally won one of his suits against Amber Heard. Plus, we have new Monsterverse movies coming out. And there's even a new animated X-Files series coming out. Guys, we're talking all of that plus more. Welcome back to Let's Talk Movie News. Guys, welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. My name is Brad.
My name is Miguel.
Wow, that sounded terrible.
Anyways. Really? Hey guys, I'm sorry. I just figured out how this thing's actually supposed to be set. It's supposed to be set like this, not the other way around.
Notice he sounds a whole lot better. And notice that we are here because I promised you on last week's episode, well, on Monday's episode of Let's Talk Movies, that we would have a movie news show. It's been spotty the last few weeks. We have been busy as hell. That's why. So, also, if you don't see us posting every weekday over these next few weeks, that's probably going to be why. Just because we have so much stuff going on. We're going to take some time and really focus on the episodes. We're looking at some new software.
We want to give you quality, not quantity, guys.
We do want to give you quality. So
words to live by.
I will go back to posting more individual, like standalone videos as the coming weeks go on. But
yeah, and I'm also gonna pull up some new clips and all that for TikTok, because I know we haven't been able to do much on that.
Yeah.
So I'll start compiling some more videos, and hopefully we get some likes on that one too. I want to hit the For You page. If I'm on your For You page, thank you. Yeah. That means you like movies, and I respect you.
Mm-hmm. If you went back to school this week, congrats.
Sorry.
Great year. You know which one of us is the teacher. Have a great year,
right?
Guys. We will make it through COVID. We will make it through everything, and we'll press on. It'll be a good year. I'm excited. What are you drinking tonight?
Nothing, dog. I ain't got nothing to drink right now. I see
I'm
you're
drinking out of, out of the bottle, and I don't even care.
Dog, it was the hottest day today of the week, and this man's drinking Oktoberfest, still thinking that he's in that fall attitude. And for me, dog, I don't hit fall attitude until it's like September or October.
I'm hitting
August is never a fall month for me. It never is. I never get in a fall mindset, even though I love fall as a season. I never get in the fall mentality in August because it's always balls hot.
Balls hot. It's not just hot. You heard it here, folks. It's not just hot. It's balls hot.
Balls hot.
There's a difference. There's a difference between hot and balls hot.
If you're a guy and you know what I'm talking about. If you're a guy, you know that your balls be sweating so hard. And if you don't keep track of your shit down there, oh God, I feel sorry for you. Just saying. July was the hottest year in history. Just wait. With the sun still out.
July was the hottest year? The hottest month in history?
Fuck me. It was the hottest month in history. Again, guess who's the teacher?
I love giving him shit.
So, yeah, just know it's August. It's still going to be hot as fuck. So,
yeah. But we're getting there. My Halloween Kills mask is supposed to arrive on Friday. I'm excited. We will do a video, maybe Monday.
To look at it?
Yeah, we'll look at it on Monday on the show.
We're just gonna look at a face. We're gonna look at a mask. I'm okay with that. Is it still modeled after William Shatner?
I mean,
or did they change that?
It's modeled after the original, and
William Shatner.
It's made, but it's not like they started with a mold of William Shatner's face. I mean, it's just this mask in the new trilogy was made to look like the original one was. But the original was a William Shatner mask that was changed and spray painted white, and the hair was spray painted with some black, and they widened the eye holes. So it was a William Shatner mask. William Shatner hates it, by the way. He's always kind of like, whatever. Like, I think it kind of irritates him.
I'd be more irritated if I had like a fucking if someone made a Halloween mask of my face in general, I'd be more irritated on that.
It's funny because, like, if he's at like conventions and stuff, people have gone up to him with Myers masks, and they're like, "You're William Shatner. Like, will you sign my Michael Myers mask?" And he's like, "No."
I thought the way you said it, you said shine. I was looking for the whole like. Thank you for shining my mask.
Could you imagine, Mr. Shatner? Will you sign our Michael Myers mask? He just spits on it and walks away. Like spits, turns around and walks away.
That is so shitty.
Let's see this. Speaking of Halloween and this new trilogy, we have a little bit of Halloween Ends news. Not a lot, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of something. James Jude Courtney, the man himself, he was in a panel in Chicago, and he confirmed that Halloween Ends will start filming on January 10th of next year.
Halloween Ends?
Halloween Ends will begin filming on January 10th of 2022. I'm not going to read through this whole article because that's pretty much the gist of the news. It goes on, the beginning talks about the success of Halloween 18 and the legacy of the original, and they were being delayed because of COVID, yada, yada, yada. Courtney gave an update on the status of Halloween Ends during a recent panel at Flashback Weekend in Chicago. When asked if anything for Halloween Ends was able to be shot before the pandemic, Courtney confirmed that the third film in the trilogy will begin filming on January 10th, 2022. With Halloween Kills not even being released yet, the actor couldn't tease much about the third movie, but touched upon how secretive they're keeping it. They're keeping the next two sequels. I hope they keep Halloween Ends a little bit more secretive because, good Lord, everything about Halloween Kills has leaked online. And I mean, it's been up to people. I think people have done a really good job not reading it if you don't want to. But like when the trailer leaked, I scrolled past it twice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I remember you telling me about that.
I hope they do a better job of keeping stuff under wraps. Filming starting in January gives Blumhouse and Universal less post-production time than they had on Halloween Kills, yet they should still have plenty of time before Halloween Ends is released in October 2022. Halloween Kills is said to be even more brutal than its predecessor, but it didn't seem to affect the time it took to film. With that in mind, Halloween Ends may take a little longer if they plan to up the action for the final movie and end the trilogy with a bang. How much more action you gonna? I mean, that's pretty action right there.
There's gonna be more actions. That's what surprised me. I guess you're not gonna go with what's it called? It's like the theory I had, where it's kind of be like epilogue-y.
Yeah, and I think that's how it's. But from what I know about Halloween Ends, and I don't know a lot because again, I've tried to avoid stuff. But there was a Halloween Ends script. Who the hell knows if it's true or not? Or part of a script or something like that floated around. Apparently, Halloween Ends is supposed to be mega different. Like people are kind of going to be like, "What?"
Like, wait.
So I don't know.
I can't even tell you what's gonna happen.
And I think it would cheapen Halloween Kills if Ends was just the same kind of like brutal, chaotic atmosphere.
Well, that's kind of what they're hinting at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I don't know. And again, and it's just like the whole thing with them not taking place on the same night, it's kind of like, well, that does sound epilogue-y then. You know what I mean?
It does. Yeah.
I don't know. I was even thinking about it today. I listened to Unkillable again in the car on the way home.
Dog, guys, I'm sorry. I added the Unkillable track came out on Spotify. Brad sent it to me. I shit you not. I immediately put that on my gym soundtrack. The shit slaps.
It does slap.
The shit slaps.
It's pretty good. I like it a lot better than I thought I would from when I heard it in the little snippet from the leaked one, which of course now we know that leak was true. We were wrong. We admit it. We were wrong. We both thought that leak was fake and it was 100% true. So we admit it. We were wrong.
He's wrong. I didn't have much opinions on it. I just assumed. Yeah. So I mean, I just like I think the thing that caught me the most with this movie in general, because guys, again, I wasn't really a Michael Myers fan. The thing that got me the most with it was the soundtrack, because god damn, that thing was fucking baller. That shit slapped. It was hard. It was like really like rockish. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and it's a typical this from what we've heard of Halloween Kills, the score sounds more John Carpenter-ish than the
Hmm.
2018 one did. And I mean, he did do the 2018 one too.
Hmm.
But it sounds super John Carpenter, which I dig. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah,
So,
I think what it reminds me of, it reminds me of what Jordan Peele, which Jordan Peele is he's a newer director, and he's done
yeah.
the last two horror movies in our recently, which by the way are slap too. Like
Yeah.
Get Out
They're
and
good.
Us are great horror movies.
They're good.
And
Definitely.
I remember like Jordan Peele has a thing where he uses like he uses his songs, certain songs, to set
Hmm.
the atmosphere. So for Get Out, it was Redbone, and you could tell why it was used in that
Yeah.
movie based off the lyrics alone. And it
Hmm.
had such an ominous thing, which kind of relates to the way the movie was going.
Right.
And then but then with Us, when he used I forgot what the name of the song was, but I think it's like I Got Five on it. I think that's the name of the title. And it's a known song, but he changed it. It's changed up to sound more horror-y. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. For
Not
sure.
not not horror-y, you know what I mean? Not like that, but like
Hoary.
more horror-esque.
Whores.
That's the best way to
Slut.
say it. Yeah, you know what I was thinking. But they made it more creepy. Best way there it is. They
Yeah.
made it more creepy, and it just sounded awesome. When I saw that trailer and I heard that song, I was like, okay, damn, I like this.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, because Jordan Peele has a new movie called
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Interesting. The
I
poster
love
looked
it.
interesting. It
I
really did.
love it.
I saw
I
the poster,
love
and
it.
I think I actually posted it on our Instagram at We Talk the
Yeah.
Movies. Go follow us on
Yeah.
Instagram.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
And this movie, I'm so hyped for it because I mean, it basically describes everything that I think of when it comes to a horror movie.
Hmm.
Because with that scene right there, just the poster alone, I immediately thought, if I was in that town and I saw a cloud with a bunch of like that bullshit flags looking like a goddamn balloon, I would have been like, nope, I'm in my car, I'm gone. And that mentality is so like that thought is so well known in horror movies, because like people always say like, if I was in that situation, nope, I'm out. It's that it's just like that. And
Nope.
I love that Jordan Peele is making a movie based on that notion. And it's great. I can't wait. If I don't hear that phrase, or like, nope, we're
Nope.
out of here. If I don't hear that in that movie, I'm gonna be disappointed.
And it can't just be like, nope. It's got to be like, nope.
It'd be like, nope, I'm out of here.
It takes me back to watching Black Christmas when you were like, yo, if the guy's being weird on the phone, leave.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
go to
Same
the
thing.
cops. Like, go somewhere else.
I had that same like thought whenever we saw Black Christmas, because when that phone came out, I'd have been like out the door. You guys, that's one of our videos in the TikTok. I literally said if I heard that shit and they started saying some creepy shit, I would have been like out the door. I would not be fucking with it any other ways. Okay, I don't care if it was just some weird crazy white boy. Guess what? Crazy white boys are something to be feared of. So, if I heard that on the phone, I'm out. Not even bothered with it. I ain't
You
gonna be no
got
hero.
you heard it here
I'm not gonna
first,
be no
people.
final girl or final boy. What?
I said you heard it here first, people.
Yeah, exactly. I ain't gonna be no hero in a horror movie. I'm out the door. Quick. If you ain't with me, you're not. If you ain't with me, guess what? You're gonna be the memoriam at the end of the movie. Just saying.
It'd be like they do at
So
the end of Talking Dead, where they have the in memoriam for each episode of The Walking Dead.
exactly. And I would be on the chair. I would be on the chair with Chris Hardwick, be like, I told them. I
Yeah.
told them to get the fuck out. But guess what? They didn't listen. So let's see the clip. Let's see the clip, guys.
Well, the thing about we were talking about Halloween Ends. I don't even know how we got on that strange path we were just on.
It was the soundtrack. The
Yeah,
soundtrack.
yeah. The soundtrack. If they start filming Ends in January, trying to think, they'll probably film for a month and a half, 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So they might film, let's say through mid-February. That'll give them March, April, May, June, July, August, September. That'll give them 7 months roughly. That'll be enough time. That'll be fine for post-production plus marketing. They'll be fine. They'll be able to. I mean, half the time, I think a lot of times trailers are cut for movies before the like all of
Are they?
post-production is done. Yeah.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
think about it like that.
Yeah, I think they're cut before
That's a
post-production is like
huge
finished.
risk, though. That
Yeah.
really is.
Well, that's why like some of the Infinity War and the Endgame trailers had like CGI that looked different. Like, do you remember that the I think it was the first Infinity War trailer that came out. Thanos is still like blue. He's not like
Oh,
purple. Like if you remember at the end of the first Avengers movie, he's blue. Like let's be completely honest, he's blue. He's not purple. And then randomly, it was like he's blue in the trailer, and then in the movie he's purple. It's just like and it's just little things like that. So, but it'll be enough time. So as long as COVID goes the hell away, I think we'll still get Halloween Ends on time. I don't think they'll delay it anymore.
you keep blaming COVID, man. It ain't COVID. COVID took a break. COVID took a break. He went on vacation. This is the Delta variant.
No.
This is the next generation. This is the Z. This is the Z generation. Generation Z. COVID was a millennial.
Oh my god.
The Delta variant is Generation Z. That's
well,
my
he
generation.
grew up awfully fast.
He grew up awfully fast. Exactly. Our generation grew up awfully fast. It's the best way I can describe it.
All right, well, let's move on here. Let's talk about some Monsterverse stuff. We haven't had Monsterverse news in quite a while, but
that was because Michael Daughtry made it clear that, or even Warner Bros. Pretty much made it clear, like, we don't know what's next.
Yeah,
honestly, Godzilla vs. Kong was the end game for us.
Yeah, and if you remember, I mean, we talked briefly. There was a rumor that Adam Wingard wanted to do a Son of Kong prequel to the Monsterverse, where I believe this iteration of Kong is not King Kong, and I don't know. I think that idea was stupid. We have a whole video about that on our YouTube channel talking about how that's just not smart.
We do not sponsor that.
No, we do not. And me as a King Kong guy, I do not sponsor that.
Yeah.
So Godzilla vs. Kong writer teases future Monsterverse movies. This is talking about Max Borenstein, excuse me. He was one of the writers on Godzilla vs. Kong. Godzilla vs. Kong writer Max Borenstein teases the development of future installments in Legendary's Monsterverse franchise. The series first launched in 2014 with the American reboot of Godzilla, which received generally positive reviews from critics and grossed over $529 million against a $160 million budget. Yada yada yada. We all know what came before that. We know what came before Godzilla vs. Kong. The latest installment in the Monsterverse franchise acted as a culmination, just like you said, of the first three films as the titular kaiju first began fighting each other, only to later team up and face off against a bigger threat. With their interconnected stories seemingly coming to a conclusion in Godzilla vs. Kong, the future of the series has been largely unknown, save for teases that director Adam Wingard is in negotiations to helm a new film and Son of Kong, reportedly in development, which we just talked about that. While no new word has been given as of yet, one person closely involved in the franchise had offered some hopeful insight into its future. Godzilla vs. Kong did kind of feel like their end game.
Well, not necessarily, because I remember Adam Wingard pretty much, he said it perfectly, and I agree with him. He said, my goal in this movie wasn't to plant any seeds of any future development.
Yeah, it was just to have the two of them go at it.
Yeah, have a story of these two going at it, and that was it. And I respect that, and I get it, because Godzilla wasn't necessarily just, there was no like linear story with the Godzilla franchise. I mean, directors just got up and they said, hey, I want to make another Godzilla movie. We'll use the materials that we had before and make another story. Right. That was pretty much the best way. I mean, Godzilla was almost like an anthology. Yeah, there were franchises throughout.
Yeah, that's true.
Throughout the whole thing. I mean, in regards to the people there, obviously, but each generation, whether it was a Showa, Heisei, Millennium, or Legendary, each one of them had like their characters, but they weren't necessarily being played the same. You know what I mean? So take it with golly, I really wish I could remember those names. But there was one that was, I think he was the general in the Heisei series, but then in the Millennia period, he became the Secretary of Defense. And he was the reason why he was the one that started the Kiryu project and Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. So like they're saying there's similar characters that's played in previous Godzilla movies. They come back. because they love the franchise.
Right.
But the story is never linear. It always picked up right. It always picked up with a new story, and then they just let that story ride. And I think that was what made it so interesting, because it just made that world seem so much bigger. Like you never knew what was going to happen next. Every single movie you saw, you didn't know whether Godzilla was going to be a good guy, he was going to be an Earth defender, or a terrorizer. You never knew which one he was going to be.
For sure.
So it was always interesting to know, because I always loved that. Whenever I would see whenever I got a hand on a new Godzilla movie, I was always interested whether or not, oh, is he going to be a good guy or is he going to be a villain? I mean, it was always a flip toss of what's going to happen. So like, there was never any like clear definition as to whether or not Godzilla was a true Earth protector. I mean, he was an Earth protector, but he did terrorize the civilians pretty much.
Right.
So, and I think that's where Legendary kind of like fed into that lore, because obviously you're seeing Godzilla versus King Kong, he terrorizes the town, he fucks it up, he really does. He does his work on it.
Yeah.
But then he also protects it, because he doesn't like people. He protects the earth.
He said, "It's mine. I can do whatever I want to it."
Exactly.
Y'all, I just let you guys live here. But no, I mean, I agree with everything you just said. And it's funny that you say that about the linear storytelling thing, because the King Kong movies they haven't been exactly linear either. I mean, it's almost like, I think with a lot of the King Kong movies, it was like, okay, well, the first one was so successful, you got to do a sequel. And it's like they do a sequel, but it's so wild and crazy and off the wall. It's just kind of, it's almost like, how is it like, I don't, it's just like, why is it like, it's one of those movies that it's like a sequel wasn't needed, but they just felt like they had to because it was so popular. And I worry that with the Monsterverse, I'm really worried that their end game was Godzilla versus Kong. Like they knew that Godzilla versus Kong was the big finale, and now they're like, well, crap, we got to keep it going, but we don't know how. And that's where I'm a little worried for the Monsterverse, because it's kind of like, oh,
I genuinely hope not, because again, like Godzilla is such a huge franchise, and there's just so many to pick from. I'm in a couple of Godzilla groups, Godzilla Facebook groups, and I mean, everybody wants to see Destroya. If you guys don't know who that is, he's a really big bad, like next level from King Ghidorah. So I mean, trust me, he could be the next big bad. It's almost the same as like the MCU. After Thanos was defeated, I mean, people were saying, okay, next one's got to be Galactus or Doctor Doom, or obviously what we see now is King the Conqueror. Like there's always another big bad. So, and the Monsterverse has the opportunity here to literally pull more from the lore of the Toho company, and just create these other monster, or just like bring back these other monsters and make them the next big bad. It doesn't even have to be Destroya next. It could be like another simple monster that just wreaks havoc, and it'll still slap.
For sure. Kong says, "What is this?
What is this?" This bitch knows exactly what it is.
He does.
He said he saw it and he was like, "Oh, I'm ready for round 2."
He said,
Stick going to lizard.
All right. In anticipation of the release of the biographical drama Worth, Bornstein spoke exclusively with Screen Rant about his time with the Monsterverse. And looking to the future of the franchise, Bornstein confirmed he does know of talks regarding installments currently in the works, though he kept mum on what those may be. I've heard some exciting things that are happening that I can't divulge. They have a great handle on things there, and I certainly have thoughts, and am always excited when I get involved in them. I think it's in good hands, and with the success of Godzilla vs. Kong, there will be some new, interesting installments coming. Without being able to say any of that officially, you can look at the fact that the first film performed and people really responded to it. I think it was really wonderful timing for people to have that towards the end of that surge in the pandemic. People really felt eager to see something that was fun and joyful in the cinema, and it was really exciting to have our movie be that movie. And I agree. I think Godzilla vs. Kong was wildly successful. I really do.
I mean, I agree with him in the aspects of it was just a fun movie. Again, these Godzilla movies are not supposed to be Oscar-winning, story-driven.
Right.
They're not supposed to.
Well,
They're
and
just supposed to be some interesting dialogue and then some shit and a shit ton of fight scenes.
yeah, and I mean, if you go back to our episode where we talked Godzilla versus Kong, like our review and discussion and all that stuff, I was kind of disappointed at first that it wasn't more serious. Like King of the Monsters felt so apocalyptic and so
Hmm.
serious, and it was just like, holy crap, there are really like stakes here. Godzilla versus Kong was just kind of like big monkey fight big lizard, fun. like
Pretty
like it was
much.
just kind of like, let's just have a good time and let's just see the two of them destroy each other, you know?
Pretty much, yeah. And
And
that's how most of these movies are. I
yeah,
mean, and let me see. If I'm correct,
I
it
don't think there's
was
anything else here. Yeah.
I think it was Destroy All Monsters in the Showa period. It was Destroy All Monsters. And then after that, it was like Godzilla versus Megalodon. And that one was a pretty fucking goofy movie. So I mean, it makes sense. I mean, this franchise literally can go from the most emotionally driven movie you could think of in this franchise to the most goofiest thing you could ever see.
Yeah,
Like, take a
absolutely.
look. I remember in the show in the Heisey period, there in the movie Godzilla versus Biollante was probably one of the more emotional movies. No, I'm sorry, fuck that. It was Godzilla versus Destroyer, which again could be the next big bad. That was probably the most emotional movie in the Heisey period. But then in the Millennium period, it literally had Godzilla jump like 20 feet in the air just to smash on a fucking
Yeah.
mosquito.
Is that the thing where
Like,
he goes like, he jumps and it's like he's straight up and then he's horizontal and then he just goes.
yeah. He literally. So it was Godzilla versus Megaguirus, and again, it was just a giant fucking mosquito. If we're being completely fucking honest, or a
Yeah.
dragonfly, it was pretty much a giant dragonfly, and he literally slams this dragonfly into the ground, and he roars, and then he literally goes like this, and fucking 50 feet in the air. And what made it so goofy was that you could see Megaguirus. They CGI'd his eyes going like this. And next you see just guys like just slapping
But
on him.
it's like
It
he
was just
defies
so
gravity. Like he goes straight up and he's like the right way and then he just goes flop.
exactly. It
It's like
made it
what?
made absolutely no sense whatsoever. And I think in that movie it gives Godzilla like energy boost or like a super speed kind of thing
Yeah.
because Mechagoras was a fast creature. So
Right.
then like after when they fight, he gets I don't know, I forgot. I think he gets stabbed by him and he ends up becoming so much faster and he gets like some kind of like super speed shit. And I was like, where are we going with this, guys? Where are we going with this? This is getting a little goofy. And
Godzilla
yeah, it
has
was
become
goofy.
John Wick.
Pretty much. He that was the most John Wick Godzilla movie I've seen in a
Right.
while, and like in the
Yeah.
entire franchise. But again, it was just goofy and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I remember watching that movie more times than any other ones, just because of
Yeah.
that scene alone. It was fucking hilarious.
Absolutely. So let's move on to our next story here. Anybody who's watched our show before, you know I'm a huge X-Files fan. My wife and I watched the X-Files over the summer. I had seen it um, when the revival happened in 2016. I watched it all the way through. My dad was a huge fan of the X-Files. Watched every episode live on TV when they aired. Um, and back when the series was on Netflix, ahead of season 10 premiering on Fox, I watched the whole thing straight through. Loved it. It's like in my top 3 favorite series of all times. Probably The Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, and The X-Files are my absolute favorites. And kind of strange but interesting. I'm excited, but I'm also kind of like, oh no, I don't know what to do. Spellbinding, show-stopping, phenomenal, utterly spellbinding.
Hey man, don't kick on Aretha Franklin. She my
I know.
queen.
I saw the trailer for that. It actually looked pretty good.
It looked pretty dope.
Pretty good. All right, there's an X-Files animated comedy series coming to Fox. Strange. Stranger than what Mulder and
An
Scully are looking
animated
at right here.
comedy. See, when you said animated, I was thinking it was gonna be like a
Yeah.
dark and gritty animation, but
Well, I know, and that would be cool. But here's the thing: the X-Files. I mean, it's got funny aspects to it. There are parts that are funny, but like, it's not. It's really like a sci-fi horror-ish kind of thing. I mean, it's not really funny.
Yeah.
So let's read this. I thought it was pretty interesting. An animated X-Files comedy series spin-off is in the works at Fox. The project is currently titled The X-Files Albuquerque. It has received a script and presentation commitment at the broadcaster. The show would revolve around an office full of misfit agents who investigate X-Files cases too wacky, ridiculous, or downright dopey for Mulder and Scully to bother with. They're basically the X-Files B team.
I like
okay.
that.
Okay.
Cool.
I mean, like I could see how it'd be funny.
I thought it was gonna be
funny.
like I thought it was gonna be the original duo, but if it's just gonna be the B
Yeah.
team, okay, I can vibe with that.
This is the guys where Mulder and Scully are like, this is too stupid for us. And it's funny because in the actual series, the FBI hates Mulder and Scully. They think Mulder is a quack and that he's full of shit, and they've tried to kick Mulder out of the bureau like a million times because they can't. They think he's just full of crap. They would never have a second X-Files team. There's no way.
They must have, and they probably hate those guys even more.
Probably. X-Files creator Chris Carter is attached to executive produce the project, with Rocky Russo and Jeremy Sonzenko attached to write and executive produce. Gabe Rotter, who worked on the X-Files revival at Fox, will also executive produce. 20th Century and Fox Entertainment will produce. Good Lord, how many producers does this thing have? Bento Box will provide animation. Neither Gillian Anderson or David Duchovny is involved with the project at this time. I almost wonder if they reached out to the two of them and they were like, no.
No.
The original X-Files ran for 9 seasons on Fox and inspired 2 feature films, during which Duchovny and Anderson played Special Agents Mulder and Scully in a one-off appearance on Fox's animated cornerstone, The Simpsons. Fox then revived the series for a 6-episode 10th season, blah, 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 blah. We all know that stuff. Goes on to talk about Russo and Sosenko, talking about the collaboration they did on Movie 43 and Brickleberry. Never heard of either one.
Brickleberry. I think I know what Brickleberry is.
I don't know what Brickleberry is. Should the project move forward, it would not be Fox's first attempt at a supernatural comedy series in recent years. The network previously aired the comedy Ghosted, starring Adam Scott and Craig Robinson, during the 2017-18 season. I hadn't heard of Ghosted. Have you?
Ghosted?
Ghosted.
Yes. Is it a FX movie?
I don't think it's a movie. I think it was on Fox.
Oh yeah, it was on. Hold on, I think I know what you're talking about. Yes, it had
because
Craig
the
Robinson
X-Files
in it. Oh yeah, my god,
the X-Files was on Fox. Is it funny?
I think yo, Craig Robinson's in it. It's gotta be funny. That is great. Cool. That's another series I need to check out.
Oh, there you go. That show focused on a mall cop and a former Stanford professor investigating paranormal activities in Los Angeles for a shadowy government organization. Good Lord, that kind of sounds like the X-Files, except it's 2 FBI agents that are investigating paranormal and alien things that are being followed by the sketchy American government.
Yeah.
That's basically the X-Files in a nutshell. This would also not be the first attempt at doing an animated comedy derived from a live action drama universe. CBS All Access recently launched Star Trek Lower Decks. I could give a crap less about Star Trek.
Trek. Bro, I think this one is I think Star Trek Lower Decks is I think it's
there's the article.
Is it? I think it's produced by Seth MacFarlane. No, that's another one. That's another TV show with Seth MacFarlane. Really? I need to check those out. Those are great. There's a scene that I remember, the one with Seth MacFarlane where like they discover the crew discovers cigarettes. They find out what cigarettes are, and they have a thing where they can materialize stuff, for food and just general stuff.
Yeah.
And they materialize a mountain of cigarettes, and he gets addicted to cigarettes. And it's so far into the future that they don't know what addiction is to cigarettes. They don't realize what it is. So
they don't know like the concept of addiction. Like they don't know what it is.
Yeah, they didn't really understand that. So they said, no one touched this until we figure out what it is. And obviously these 2 people, they ended up smoking it. And
they ended up doing it.
Yeah, and they said, you can't. Okay, you guys are clearly addicted to it. So until we find a cure to cure this addiction, you guys are not to touch it, not to smoke it, not to do anything. So it's pretty much them like going through withdrawals of cigarettes.
That's
It's
actually pretty
fucking
funny. Like that
hilarious.
sounds like it would be
It's
pretty
a
funny.
great skit.
Yeah.
But this animated show sounds pretty funny. I
I
think
know.
I would give it a chance, Fred. That's the best way
I
to
know.
put it.
As a huge X-Files fan, I'll probably give it a chance. Like I have
Yeah.
Mulder, I have Mulder's "I Want to Believe" poster up here off
Mhm.
camera. I have the revival poster with the alien hand that says "I still want to believe."
Yeah.
It's such a good Miguel. You would actually really dig that show if you got into it.
I probably would.
It's just a
And
lot.
I'm gonna give that animated show a chance too, because I mean I'm giving Star Wars Visions a chance. Which, by the way, yo, I know we don't usually talk about Star Wars, but again, guys, I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan, and the new trailer for Star Wars Visions just dropped. Brad, that shit looks fucking fire. I didn't know it was going to be a anime-ish kind of show because it's being
Is
the
it like
studios
straight
are
up anime or is it animated
straight up
ish?
anime. It's straight up anime manga ish. Like
Disney's
it's
starting to
being
do some crazy things with their big, like even like the What If, like the Marvel stuff, Star
yeah.
Wars. They're starting to do some out there stuff with it.
I thought Star Wars Vision was just going to be like a what if kind of thing, but no, it has its own. It's its own. It's basically an anthology again, which is something I think Star Wars needs to go to.
Yeah,
It needs to stay away from the whole family drama shit. They need to stay away from that and just go into like the whole anthology of it, because that's what Star Wars is. Yeah, it's more impactful whenever it's just the stories of the galaxy far, far away. It's not just about this guy with his last name. Okay, we're done with that. We're done with that.
so you
right?
don't want them to try
Fine.
to do another trilogy to fix the other trilogy.
Sure, why not? If you want to fix it, sure. But in reality, with the thing that saved Star Wars was the Mandalorian. And again, people are probably pissed because it's just a Western. But yeah, it's a Western. And fucking Star Wars.
Are you in that camp? You know, we talked about this on Monday's episode of Let's Talk Movies about the Suicide Squad and Zack Snyder and James Gunn kind of like taking on a, not that they are, but it would be good if they kind of took on the Kevin Feige thing for DC. There's a lot of people that are in the camp that are saying that Jon Favreau saved Star Wars. Do you think Jon Favreau could exist in a Kevin Feige-ish role for the whole Star Wars like universe that they have right now?
I don't think he should be like the guy holding the helm. I think he should be involved in a lot of the projects, because I mean,
do you agree that he
he's
saved Star Wars?
100%,
Really?
100% with the Bad Batch and the Mandalorian. By golly, that really did save the entire franchise. You could talk to any Star Wars fans, and they will tell you straight up, the only reason why they're still watching, they still love Star Wars, is because of the Mandalorian and the Bad Batch.
Now,
And
admittedly, I'm not a big Star Wars person. I like it. It's fine. I loved Rogue One.
and there's a reason why.
You know,
because
Force
it had
Awakens
nothing to
was
do
fine.
with family, and it had
It
nothing
had
to
a
do
little
with
bit to do
someone's,
with it.
but it had nothing to do with the whole family name.
That's fair. With the Skywalker thing, it was more about the resistance and stuff than it was.
Exactly. That's something we want to see. We want to see, like, I'm sure fans will agree. Some of us want to see a Stormtroopers movie. Like, let's talk about like the stories of the Stormtroopers from their point of view. That's why Star Wars Squadron was such a good trailer. When the trailer dropped and you were put in the perspective of the TIE fighters, and then with Star Wars Battlefront 2, it was interesting. It didn't hit the mark all that well, but Star Wars Battlefront 2 had the elite squadron of the Stormtroopers. That was pretty dope. It was great to see that perspective. It was because we want to see more stories, not just the Skywalker saga, which again was absolutely like amazing, but we all know that this new trilogy was just trying to milk that fucking cash cow right there.
Oh,
it really was
100%.
So that's why we're like, okay, let's just be done with the Skywalker saga. If you want to try to revive it, sure, by all means. But in the meantime, we just want to see great stories in the Star Wars universe, which is exactly what Rogue One did. That's exactly what the Bad Batch did, and the Mandalorian. Granted, there are Jedis in that movie, but it's Jedis that we absolutely love, that came from the Clone Wars. And they're coming back from Rebels. Rebels was a great TV show, and I think that was helped by him as well. So with this new like anime show, I mean, again, guess what? Guess what, Brad? It's an anthology. Yeah, that sounded really bad. Yeah, it's an anthology. It's
So
just
be
gonna
it.
be it's gonna be 9 episodes, just different stories in an anime-ish style. It's pretty dope. Again, I'm
That
an
is pretty
anime
dope.
fan. I'm an anime fan, man. I like Attack on Titan. I like fucking Naruto. I love Dragon Ball Z. I love that shit. So the fact that I'm gonna be able to see Star Wars and that genre,
Yeah,
it's gonna be pretty
that will be
awesome.
kind of cool.
Yeah,
And again, admittedly, I'm not a huge Star Wars guy, but I have heard that the Bad Batch is straight fire.
it is straight fire. It's a little redundant right now, but it's straight fire.
Cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Now, let's go on to something that is not straight fire. Because unfortunately,
Why?
as a kid, why are we going to go on to something bad?
Why would we go to somewhere that's not on fire? That's where the heat comes from.
Well, we are going to go somewhere that is on fire.
Okay.
Because if you are a kid that was born in the 90s, and if you grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s era like we did, you probably watched Jackass. You were probably a big Jackass fan. Hearing, "Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass," and then watching a bull shove him through a window was a good time. You probably enjoyed yourself like we did. But you know
Bro, I'm
who
not
is
gonna lie. There's a lot of people in our generation that didn't love it.
I know.
I wanted to die laughing because I went over to Brad's place and we had dinner and we said, "Hey, let's just watch some
Yeah.
Jackass clip."
Miguel
And
and I
then his
sat for like
wife, yeah, his wife Julia literally went, "Well, okay then."
Miguel and I sat for like 40 minutes, like reminiscing on like old Jackass bits that they did. Um,
Yeah,
but you know who is not happy is Bam Margera.
I'm not mad at him. I'm just disappointed. I mean,
I
I feel
know.
bad for him to be honest.
Yeah, I do feel bad for him. I think he's going through a lot right now. Uh, obviously this was a while ago. He doesn't look like that anymore. I mean, he looks
Mm-mm.
he's and again, he's older. I mean, I don't say it in a derogatory way, but he's gained a lot of weight. He looks like he's got some issues. I know he's got some alcohol problems. And I think he needs help. I say that genuinely. I think he needs help. I think um I don't know. I hope he gets help because I think he really needs it. But Jackass Forever is coming out. We've gotten the trailer. Trailer's hilarious. I think it's going to be a really funny entry. And they're getting older. This might be the last time they can do this. I don't know if their bodies can take can take any more mutilation. You know what I mean?
Bro, they're gonna keep going to like almost like a quarter of them die. Because
They're gonna
again,
get.
not much of them are great actors. Granted, Johnny Knoxville,
He's done okay. He's
he's
done
been
all
in a
right for
couple of
himself.
movies. He's doing all right for himself. But everyone else, I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
you can put them in a movie and they'll be solid.
Well, and I almost kind of feel like, did they need the money? Like,
Honestly,
like Chris
I think that's what it
Pontius,
was.
Preston Lacey, like people like that. It's kind of like, did they need the money? Like, hey, let's do another Jackass.
Pretty much, yeah. That's the best
But
way I can
I'll
describe it.
definitely go see it. I saw part 3 in the theater when it came out. I may have seen part 2 when it came out too in the theater. I don't know. I definitely saw 3 though, and I always loved it. I always thought it was really fun. But Bam Margera has sued Paramount. He's sued Johnny Knoxville. He's sued Jeff Tremaine, and he sued MTV over being cut from Jackass. Now, if you remember a while back, Bam did a live video on his Instagram, and it's on YouTube, and it's kind of hard to watch. I'm not gonna lie. He's drunk. He pukes a couple of times. He's going on about how they've screwed him or whatever, and he talks about how he's been fired from Jackass because they kept making him piss and they kept making him take drug tests and COVID tests and stuff like that. And it was just kind of like,
Yeah, I'm sorry, you have to.
you can't. You're doing life-threatening stunts. Like you can't show up drunk. Like you can't. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Or you're gonna die. Like, and
yeah.
Paramount doesn't want that on them. So he has sued Johnny Knoxville and all these other people for them firing him from Jackass. Seeking millions of dollars in damages, the 39-page complaint filed Monday in Los Angeles Superior Court cites defendants' inhumane, abusive, and discriminatory treatment of Bam Margera and for their wrongful termination of him from the Jackass franchise he created. The suit says that in March of 2020, Paramount signed Margera for a fourth Jackass film, now titled Jackass Forever. They continued Margera's conditioned Margera's participation and compensation on his adherence to a wellness agreement that obliged him to complete multiple drug tests daily. The suit claims that while Margera was in a rehabilitation facility in 2019, Spike Jonze, his producer, and Johnny Knoxville, his co-star, accused him and coerced him into signing the draconian agreement. So basically, he's saying that they have kind of thrown him to the wayside.
Forced him to like,
yeah. Paramount terminated the. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not sighing because of you. I'm sighing because of the whole situation at this point.
I know.
Because it's like literally like, my man, you just got to rehab, and you're about to do something you're about to do a project that's going to be mentally tasking on you.
Yeah.
Like that, the whole premise of these movies is going to be to fuck you up physically and to fuck you up mentally. Like they prank each other, they bully each other, they do crazy stunts on each other. So like it's gonna be fucked up. It's gonna be hard on you mentally and physically. So obviously, for someone coming out of rehab, it's gonna be tough for you to do. It's gonna be a tough job. So in my eyes, it makes sense for him to need to do these drug tests. But again, I get the whole idea. It's like, hey, I got a rehab. I'm a new guy, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, you got to understand your weakness and your triggers and the things that can obviously push you back.
Yeah.
And this is this project, granted being a big project and a emotional one for him, especially because I think Ryan Dunn, is that his name?
Yeah.
He passed away after Jackass 3.
Yeah, he was in that terrible car accident.
Exactly. So and that
he was never the same after that.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I think that was Bam's like tipping point.
That was the catalyst
for his addiction. I mean, for
yeah.
everything. I mean, I think he mentally, physically, I think he was just never the same. And I mean, I get it. I mean, it was his best friend. It was like his brother.
Yeah. So like this movie right here would have been emotionally impactful for him, but in order for him to be in the project, he had to adhere to it because he needs to understand that like you just got to rehab. You got to understand it's gonna be a tough project, and this project can honestly set you back. Yeah. So we just want to make sure you're doing okay. I get both sides, but I do understand logically that he had like this was absolutely necessary because as a friend who has certain as a guy who has certain friends that are addicted to certain things, you gotta give them a little bit of tough love. Yeah. And this was kind of like that to a certain degree. If you want to be in this project, you gotta understand that you just gotta rehab and you need to we need to keep you in check. For sure. And I think this got out of hand.
Yeah,
and
unfortunately he took it the wrong way.
He took it the wrong way, and it's unfortunate. I'm sure everyone in the Jackass family is pretty disappointed to know that Bam is taking this route.
I know.
But again, this is just from my outside perspective. I don't know what the whole thing. I mean, the whole Jackass crew could just be assholes, but I don't know. I'm just taking it from my perspective right now.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I've listened to a lot of what Steve-O has to say because I mean, if you don't know, Steve-O is clean. He is like he's a vegetarian or a vegan, one of the two. I think he quit smoking. Like he doesn't do any drugs. He doesn't smoke weed. He doesn't drink. Like Steve-O is clean, and I'm proud of him for that. You know what I mean? Steve-O used to look terrible.
Steve has a full set of new teeth because they all got fucked.
Yeah, and I mean he's even going, you know, where he's thrown up so much. I think he tore his vocal cords so much that he's needed like voice rehab. So he's like going to do stuff for his voice. And he said that, you know, when Steve-O was spiraling, he said Johnny Knoxville saved his life because he was like, yo, you need help. Like, and he got him help. And now Steve-O owns like 7 or 8 different rehab places. He helps people get into rehab. He helps people get clean. Like, that's dope. Like, bravo to Steve-O, man. Like, that's really, really cool. So that's why I kind of,
which is hilarious.
Well,
not necessarily hilarious. The fact that, I think what makes it so much more beautiful is the fact that, because whenever they started hanging out, I remember it was Jermaine and Knoxville. They were doing projects, and then they met Steve-O.
They were doing Big Brother on MTV.
They were doing Big Brother, yeah. And then they met up with Steve-O, and they were doing like, you know, some shoots. And at first they were just like trying to like get away from him, like trying to like steer him other way so he could just run off.
Yeah.
But Steve-O just kept coming back. I mean, he was just someone that they grew up on, and
Yeah.
now look at him. It went from him just trying to be a part of the group to now like he's a core member, and
Oh yeah.
he's lovable, and he's gotten out of all of these addictions. It's
At
great
this point,
to see that.
Steve-O is like the second-hand dude behind
Yeah.
Johnny. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Paramount terminated the contract in 2020, citing we read that about the wellness agreement. Defendants went so far as to employ a doctor who FaceTimed with Margera every morning to ensure he took the cocktail of pills that Paramount's medical team prescribed to him. Pills that left him physically and mentally drained, depressed, and a shell of his former self. Other named defendants in the suit include Jackass writer producer Jeffrey Tremaine, Dickhouse Entertainment, LOL, and Gorilla Flicks. I am pissed off, angry, hurt, and shattered that Johnny, Jeff, Spike, and the studios and producers ripped off my creativity, content, and stunts to make this movie, fired me without justification, and refused to pay me for my work. Margera said in a statement, I created this franchise before any of these guys ever got involved. Margera, real name Brandon Margera, is being represented in the case by Eric George, Dennis Ellis, Catherine Murray, and Surly Polatoglu. Sorry, I butchered that.
I was like,
of Brown, George, Ross, O'Brien, Anigwe, and Ellis, along with his and his personal attorneys, Allegan Driscoll and Todd Thibodeau. So there it is. Bam is suing the entire cast and the entire crew and the producers and the production companies behind Jackass because... And, you know, that was the other thing in his video is he said, like, they're stealing my ideas. Like, he said they used ideas in Jackass Forever that were his and, like, bits and stunts that were his ideas. So, I don't know. I kind of see both sides. I see why Bam is upset. But it's also like, dude, you got to get clean. Like, you can't keep living that way either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
So
it's
It's
unfortunate, man.
hard.
I like it's hard for me to have an opinion on this because it's heartbreaking on both sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
It's tough.
It is tough, and it's sad because I mean, Bam. I really did love the Jackass crew. I mean, I don't think they were ever bad people. They were just insane. They're just freaking nuts. You know what I mean? I don't think they're bad people. I think they're wild.
Most of I remember there's an interview with Johnny Knoxville, and they asked, he was like, has anyone ever like got aggressive with you guys with your pranks? And Johnny Knoxville said he said something in the lines of, most of our pranks are never like intended to, are targeted whenever we're targeting someone for a prank. It's never to like mentally or physically hurt them.
Yeah.
It was just to hurt. It was just to like, make fun of ourselves and hurt us and do stuff to us.
Right.
And they were just sorry bystanders.
Yeah.
So it's like their goal, it wasn't to like, you know, fuck with the public. It was just to like be entertaining, and it was just to hurt themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
In the name of entertainment. That's a fucked up way of saying it. It really is.
But that's how they are, though. That's what Jackass
is.
That's what it's always been.
Yep.
So I hope Bam gets the help, man. And it does bum me out that he's not going to be in Jackass Forever. But I mean,
it does too, because Bam was hilarious. Yeah, I loved him.
I mean, there's a podcast. I think it was on Joe Rogan. When Steve-O was on Joe Rogan, he was talking about Bam in like the beginning and stuff, and he was like, you know, when Bam was a kid, Steve-O was like, we all wanted to be like Bam. Like, Bam was crazy, but Bam was also a good guy. Like, you know, if you think back to even on Viva La Bam and what were the other MTV shows that he had? Because I watched them too. I watched it all.
Yeah, I remember Viva La Bam when he was fucking with his uncle, I think.
Well, it was his uncle. He'd walk in while his dad was sitting on the toilet, and he'd start beating the crap out of him and stuff like that. Like, you know, and it was all out of fun, though. Like, he loved his parents. I mean, the guy loved his parents.
That's some shit people of color would never do. Yeah, some straight up white people shit, but it was great entertainment.
It was.
That's all I could say.
I loved it. So it's just I hope he gets clean. I really do. I would rather him get clean and be healthy than be in Jackass Forever.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Which I'm sure whenever they go broke, they'll have a Jackass 5 and he'll come back. Probably. That's the best way I can think about it.
They'll have like Jackass 9 and Johnny Knoxville will actually be the old man that they put him in the makeup in. Where like the balls are hanging out of the bottom of his the bottom of his
I think that's Bad Grandpa or like Dirty Grandpa.
Oh, but they do it in Jackass too, though, where he
oh, really?
Yeah, they do it in both where they dress him up and he'll like I remember there was a bit there was a bit in Jackass where he's in the full grandpa stuff and he's got like the sweater on and he's got the windbreaker over top of it and he goes in a convenience store and he just tries to shove as much stuff in that jacket as he possibly can like he's shoplifting. I think the bit was called the shoplifter and he walks in and the clerk finally notices it and he's got like a whole thing of bananas in his shirt. He's got like crackers and like a Statue of Liberty thing in his pants. Like he's just trying to shoplift all this stuff. And the guy's
Yeah,
pulling
yeah.
bananas and crackers and cokes and stuff out of his shirt. And he's just, the guy's like, get out. It's just so funny. It's awful, but it's funny. It was just, it was a good, it was a
It was
good
just
show to,
entertaining.
as a
That's it.
teenage boy, it was a really fun show to watch. It just was.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So, all right, to wrap us up, this is the evening, and we're going to move on to something positive. Really happy. Hashtag justice for Johnny Depp because my man has finally won one of his lawsuits against Amber Heard, and it makes me really happy.
100%.
I
I'm
love
sorry.
Johnny Depp,
I'm
man. We've talked about
hashtag
that.
fuck Amber Heard. I'm just saying. Hashtag fuck her because she's not a good person. I'm team Johnny Depp. I've
Yeah.
watched and read up as much as I can with this whole suit and dog justice for Johnny. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, justice for Johnny.
I agree. I mean, I don't know. And I don't think Johnny Depp's perfect. I'm not saying they didn't have arguments and stuff didn't happen. I think there's probably a little bit of fault on both sides, but looking at all the evidence, like, I mean, we talked about this last week too. What we were talking about Brendan Fraser and him
Yeah.
coming back.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think there's evidence that she abused Johnny Depp. And I think it's good because this is also opening up a whole door into women aren't the only people who can be abused. Like it can be either gender. You know what I mean? And it's kind of opening up a whole thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is good.
Yeah, I agree with that because
Absolutely.
I'm not. We're not guys. We're not trying to like, gaslight the whole situation that's going on.
Yeah.
Women and abuse, but I'm here. I'm an advocate for all those that are abused,
right,
in any type of capacity.
Mhm.
So in this situation, from what we can understand from everything in the news, Johnny Depp is the one that's being abused, and honestly, we need to stand behind him and all that stuff because this
Yeah.
shit is ridiculous.
I
Because
mean,
it was
when they're standing together and she lifts her hand up and he goes like that. I mean, that's like PTSD. That's trauma. That is visible trauma that he
yeah,
has.
and you could see the downward spiral Johnny Depp has been in the past interviews. You could see how much he's crying for help because it's just so tragic as to what happens with these two. Because honestly, the best way I could describe it is this: whenever the first initial like reports happen of Johnny Depp being like the abuser, my golly, I've never seen so many people rally behind Johnny Depp. Granted, there were a couple of people that were rallying with Amber, obviously, and people were saying fuck Johnny, but there were just so many people rallying behind Johnny saying like, hey, this is not the Johnny we knew. Which again, that's not a good excuse. It's not any reasons you shouldn't think that this guy couldn't have done it.
Right.
But it was just the fact that it was people in his past relationships, past girlfriends, and past, I think, ex-wife, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, even
like,
his ex-wife. I mean, he's got like 3 kids with his ex-wife, and they like a tabloid or whatever straight up asked his ex-wife. They're like, "Was he ever physically abusive to you, or like was even emotionally was he abusive?" And I mean, they're not married anymore, and she even said she was like, "He never touched me." Like, he's a good guy. Like he's genuinely a good guy. And again, I know he's had alcohol problems. Like he's not. I don't know. He's not a perfect guy. He's strange, but I love him. I've always been a huge Johnny Depp supporter. So
there was one scene, God, Lee, there was one scene that really broke me. Goodness gracious. It was one where Johnny Depp went to like a cancer hospital and he dressed up as Jack Sparrow. And it was a time whenever he got his finger injured. I think it was like cut off or injured or something like that. And he had it wrapped up. And one of the patients asked him, he was like, "What happened to your hand?" And Johnny Depp literally had to sit there and lie to her and say, "Oh, I just," in like in the Jack Sparrow accent, he would just say, "Oh, well, I did something with my finger on the ship, blah 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 blah." He said I was hungry and I bit it off, and I was like, "Oh God, that's just so close to the truth, but not the truth."
Yeah.
It's so fucking sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad what happened with what's going on with Johnny, and yeah, I don't know. Boy, you said it was supposed to be a happy one. Fuck out of here. You got me
No,
bombed
no, no,
out
no.
now.
But it's a happy one because um, he had Amber Heard tried to toss out this whole lawsuit and this whole thing, and it was thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
It was not dismissed, or it was not thrown out. It was not dismissed. So this is a big win for Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is complaining that Hollywood is boycotting him, which he did say he feels like he is being blacklisted from Hollywood. But a Virginia judge just handed the Miniatma star a big win in his $50 million defamation lawsuit against Amber Heard. Already pursuing a $100 million counterclaim, the Aquaman star attempted a Hail Mary move in April to have Fairfax County Chief Judge Penny Axcarate, I don't know, dismissed the 2-year-old case based on her ex-husband losing a libel trial in UK late last year, which of course is where she kind of did a lot of the abuse stuff, and he got labeled as a wife beater, like it says here. I mean, just crap like that. Subsequently, Depp lost in trying to get that British verdict overturned on an appeal. Now, in what was the third unsuccessful time trying to send the Old Dominion matter packing, it is Heard who came up short today. The court is not persuaded by defendant's argument that plaintiff had a full and fair opportunity to litigate the UK action. Defendant was not a part in the UK action and was not treated as one. She continues, though it should be mentioned that both Heard and Depp took the stand over in London on their respective POVs on the various allegations of his abusive behavior. Because she was not named a defendant, she was not subject to the same discovery rules applicable to named parties. In fact, the defendant could not have been named a defendant to the UK litigation because her allegedly defamatory statements were made after the UK action commenced. So basically, I think she was trying to add things after the trial had already begun or had already finished, and it was kind of like, you can't do that. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
The defendant argues that she was in privity with the Sun because they both had the same interest in the case. However, for privity to exist, defendant's interest in the case must be so identical with the Sun's interest such that the Sun's representation of its interest is also a representation of the defendant's legal right. Holy crap, that's a mouthful. I remember where one of the judges did say that it was puzzling, that like basically everything that she said, they were kind of like, this is like a straight up lie. Like they could tell that she was not being truthful in everything she tried to say. Mr. Depp is most gratified by the court's decision. Hit and miss in his legal adventures over the past several years, this is the second victory that fired Fantastic Beasts star Depp has gained against Heard in almost as many weeks. Earlier this month, a New York judge ruled that Depp could conduct a determination if his Rum Diary co-star really did donate a portion of their $7 million divorce settlement to the ACLU, as she widely proclaimed. And that was the other thing. She said she was going to donate their divorce settlement of what, $7 million to a charity, and I think there's no record of her doing that, even though she's like, oh, I donated it to a charity. I don't think she really did it. Having been delayed on numerous occasions because of the pandemic and more, currently the Virginia matter is set to go to trial in April, which would be April of 2022, so next year. And I hate that it's got to get dragged on for so long too. You know what I mean?
Bro, you don't understand. Divorce and all that shit takes years.
Especially when you're two millionaires.
Yeah, and you got all these lawyers to fucking throw. Yeah. It's gonna drag on.
Yeah.
This ain't gonna be the last we hear.
Yeah. So while the op-ed never actually mentioned Depp by name, The downward spiral of the couple's relationship ended in full public view in 2016, with the actor paying his now ex-wife big bucks that she might have given to charity. Ms. Heard is not a victim of Depp, and his crew have consistently declared that Heard has been lying about any abuse at the actor's hand, as a steady stream of media leaks and footage has sought to establish. That's what we were talking about. There's so many videos of the two of them together where he looks so uncomfortable being next to her. You know what I mean? And it's something, and even if you're as good of an actor as Johnny Depp, it's something you can't fake.
Yeah.
Like you can't fake it. It doesn't look, it doesn't seem like you could possibly fake something like that. Amber has already been responsible for 7 figures in donations to charitable causes and intends to continue to contribute and eventually fulfill her pledge. The Reston, Virginia located Elaine Bredhoff told Deadline. However, Amber has been delayed in this goal because Mr. Depp filed a lawsuit against her, and consequently, she has been forced to spend millions of dollars defending Mr. Depp's false accusations against her. Whatever. The bitter matter has not seen the ACLU dragged in, but Disney, the LAPD, and Elon Musk too, with wide-ranging subpoenas from both sides. The judge's opinion today means that it is likely more big names will be added to this before it's over. So, what does this mean? This basically means that Johnny Depp, this is a win for him. This is a win for Johnny, because it's a step in the right direction of showing that he really didn't do any of these things, and that a lot of what she's saying is made up. So I think the fact, it's a good sign that these judges are starting to see that there's not a lot of merit to anything she's saying, especially with all of these new leaked videos coming out, especially with the whole thing about her with the charity and saying she's going to donate all this money. And then it's kind of like, but did you though?
Yeah, when you lie about donating to fucking charity, that you were the biggest piece of shit I could think of.
I know.
Yeah, you could lie about that. Oh god, it's just a snowballing effect at that point.
Yeah. Hashtag justice for Johnny, man. I don't want to see him blacklisted. I don't want to see him blacklisted like Brendan Fraser was for all this time. Because I mean now
exactly. But the thing is,
what? It's been 15 years.
Yeah,
10, 15 years.
But understand this: there was no lawsuit with Brandon Fraser. It was just Brandon Fraser just got blacklisted because he denied certain activities. Yeah. But with this one, I mean, this is in full public eye. Back then, all that shit was just swept under the rug. It was like, oh, well, this price to pay to be an actor. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That price is not. That's a way too high of a price for you to pay just to be a fucking actor.
For sure.
So I think with this one, it's just such in the public eye, and it's so what's it called? So divided, so to speak, still. So I mean, that's why this is gonna be well known, and I think if Johnny Depp is able to come back from this, it's gonna be a huge
comeback story.
Yeah, for him especially.
Yeah, definitely. So justice for Johnny, man. So happy for him. But guys, that's gonna do it for this Friday's episode of Let's Talk Movie News. I promised you that we would be here, and we did it. We didn't go quite as long as we usually do, but that's okay, because it's been a long week, like we said. So, new episodes.
Covered a lot.
We covered a lot, and it was. I enjoyed it though. It was some good conversation we had tonight. New episodes of Let's Talk Movies and Let's Talk Movie News drop every single Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This Monday, we talked about the Suicide Squad and What If, plus a whole bunch of other things. What we watched this week, we were talking Harry Potter, we were talking Dr. Sleep, we were talking comedians in cars getting coffee. It was a really good time. So go ahead and check out that episode. We will be back this Monday for this week's episode of Let's Talk Movies. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at We Talk the Movies. I promise we'll try to get more stuff on TikTok soon. And we will talk to you guys later. Have a great rest of your weekend, and see ya.
See ya.